Oh my goodness, I can't even believe that this is happening. I can't believe that I'm standing before you. Honestly, it's such an honor. I have to give a speech. I have to give a speech here. So, sir. Oh, okay. So, sir, my name is Juliette Omonigho, and I'm legal counsel at this firm. And I'm also a director of the Foot in the Door initiative, which is an initiative founded by Charles to empower internationally trained lawyers. I have the greatest joy and honor to welcome a most distinguished guest, one of Nigeria's most illustrious sons, a giant of Africa, a giant of I haven't finished yet! A giant in the field of journalism, publishing, philanthropy, and entrepreneurship. A global icon, a visionary who changed the way Africa and its stories are told to the world. Yes. You are an epitome of glamour. I mean, just look at you. Charles Osuji and the whole team of Osuji and Smith lawyers are deeply privileged to welcome you, whose name is synonymous with excellence, integrity, and cultural pride. Chief Dr. Dele Momodu, we humbly welcome you to the main location of our firm.
Thank you.
We're also thrilled to welcome your friends that are here with you, Imole and Adebayo. And members of this group, thank you so much for putting this together. Yeah. Chief Momodu, your life is an inspiration. From the ancient and storied city of Ile-Ife, Osun State, Nigeria, you have not only risen to become a global force in media, but has also remained true to your roots. You have committed to telling the African story from the African perspective. Your work through Ovation International magazine and the Boss newspaper has crossed borders and bridged cultural divides, reflecting a deep understanding of the beauty, diversity, and resilience of Africans and its diaspora. Can I just talk about Ovation magazine for a moment? Africa's finest magazine. Yes. I remember the first time I saw an Ovation magazine. Before then, all we saw were celebrities, Hollywood celebrities. Even in our own local magazines, if you call those magazines. It was so powerful to see the Nigerian glamour in print, in a glossy world-class magazine format. Yes. It was incredible. Every Nigerian, from baby boomers and millennials, passed through the excellence delivered by Ovation International. Since its inception in 1996, Ovation has remained a beacon of glamour, culture, and sophistication. Chief Momodu's touch of publishing brilliance was unlike anything the continent had seen. It set a new standard, one that many tried to imitate but could never quite replicate. Like-minded magazines emerged, all attempting to be Ovation, which is great because you have set the pace, right? But none reached the same heights. Every magazine wanted to be Ovation, everyone wanted to be innovation. I remember back in the day, you had this tagline for Ovation. It was, if you've already had your wedding and it wasn't featured in Ovation, you had to do it again. It was a light-hearted take, but it carried so much truth. Ovation wasn't just a magazine, it was a cultural movement. There was no denying its gravitational pull. The glitz, the colors, the glamour, we were all captivated. But it was even beyond that. You celebrated Africa, not just the grand celebrations of the elite of Africa, and I tell you, they are grand, but also the inspiring stories of everyday heroes. We were all proud that this is our magazine, from Nigeria to Africa to the world. And as technology evolved, so did Chief Dr. Dele Momodu and Ovation. What's fascinating is that while others were still trying to catch up, Chief Momodu was already leading the way, entering into the digital space, right? Ovation remains unmatched, a testament to the lasting vision and drive of Chief Dr. Momodu, a great example for others to follow. You're courageous and you continue to innovate. Your impact on how the world perceives Africa cannot be overstated. Africa is not a continent of starving children, but of unique sophistication and glamour. Because of your contributions, sir, Africa is no longer seen as merely a continent of challenges, but one of limitless potential, immense culture and success. The image of Africa and promoting its stories in the most vibrant way is what you have done. You led the way. Now we showcase our glamorous music and film industry, our culture to the world, because of the example that you have set. You have won numerous accolades, too many to mention. You have met President Bill Clinton, President George Walker Bush, and even the Queen of England. And now you're here. Yes, you have touched the lives of millions across the globe. And most of all, we admire you, sir, because you're a wonderful family man and a loving father. We all see that, it's undisputed. So, as we celebrate your presence here today, I couldn't help but draw parallels between your journey and that of our very own Dr. Charles Osuji and the phenomenal growth of Osuji and Smith lawyers. Sir, let me tell you a little bit about this young man standing next to you, Dr. Charles Osuji. Like you, he embarked on a journey fueled by vision and determination. Charles arrived in Canada and quickly rose through the ranks with sheer hard work, humility, and unwavering commitment to excellence. In just a few short years, 5 years to be exact, he went from a young Nigerian boy in his 20s, who though graduated at the top of his class, seemed to have no prospect when he arrived in Canada. He was working 3 menial jobs to make ends meet until he finally got an articling position after 200 rejections, over 200 rejections. Wow. And he bought the firm after just 3 years of articling, and in just 5 years, as managing partner, led it to become the biggest Black-owned law firm in Canada. His story, like yours, is one of resilience, innovation, courage, and the kind of tenacity that transforms dreams into reality. Osuji and Smith, under Charles' leadership, mirrors the journey of Ovation International. Both entities began with a vision, faced numerous challenges, achieving feats that have never been achieved before, and ultimately became symbols of success and excellence in their respective fields. Just as Chief Dr. Dele Momodu has become a beacon of pride for Africa in the global media landscape, Dr. Charles Osuji and this firm have become a shining example of what can be achieved by a young immigrant lawyer with no connection in Canada, but through hard work and a commitment to uplifting others, rise to national recognition in the country. Through the Foot in the Door initiative, FIDI, as we call it, which he founded to empower internationally trained lawyers, our firm's reach is international, giving incredible opportunities for internationally trained lawyers around the world to gain legal experience so that they do not have to spend years writing hundreds of applications like he did before getting a foot in the door into the legal profession. As the director of that program myself, we get contacted by lawyers from around the world asking us for the opportunity to be part of the initiative. And when we say yes, it gives them the confidence to move to Canada to pursue their legal careers. The impact of the FIDI invitation is truly global, sir. Our firm is so successful because Charles has assembled an incredible team of legal minds, the best, producing first-class work, please. And really most dedicated and brilliant administrative staff, and we are all collectively, please let's hear for our brilliant and we all are all collectively dedicated to giving back. We're a full-service law firm with diverse staff. We speak over 31 languages. So I know you're a linguist. How many languages do you speak?
Just a few. So 31 is a lot.
So, and our age ranges from 20 to 70.
Wow.
7, yeah. So we are so diverse in age, we're diverse in culture. And because of Charles' leadership, it is Nigeria now lifting others, regardless of race or ethnicity. Over 200 CD students from different races have passed through our doors. Osuji and Smith Lawyers has won landmark cases that establish precedents, especially in the field of employment law. Our firm has won over 105 awards across Canada. And Charles has been recognized as one of Canada's 25 most influential lawyers at the age of 35. So in conclusion, Dr. Momodu, you have led the way, setting an incredible example for a person like Charles Osuji to rise to remarkable heights while keeping your focus on a larger mission, showcasing excellence, rewriting narratives, and creating opportunities for others. Your story continues to impact us, even in the diaspora, and reminds us that with vision, determination, and the courage to stand for something greater than ourselves, there are no limits to what we can achieve. Yes. Chief Dr. Dele Momodu, we are deeply honored to welcome you today to Osuji and Smith. You are an icon. You inspire us all. Thank you for being a shining example for what is possible and for paving the way for future generations of storytellers, leaders, and change makers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Dr. Dele Momodu, you've inspired many people. To many people, you're a great father, you're a great husband, you're a philanthropist. You are an erudite speaker. You are a consummate politician. I'm a motivational speaker. And to us at Osuji and Smith Lawyers, you are a global icon.
Thank you so much.
And this is from all of us.
Wow.
To you. And we have Charlie representing the future of Osuji and Smith.
Oh, there you go. Aren't you so cute? She actually welcomed me. Turn around. Let's take picture. Okay, you can hold it too. Don't let it cover you.
For a long time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
sir.
Thank you. Well, I guess I have to respond. But let me start with a confession that no matter how erudite or eloquent I thought I was, I met a master. And I hope I'll be able to get a soft copy of that speech for publication. No one, and I'm not attempting to flatter you, no one has ever described ovation or Dele Momodu in those words. My life, I can't begin to tell you about. We will be here all day, but I will just summarize it for the sake of those who don't know the nature of things back home in Africa. I was born in 1960 to very humble parents. That was the year Nigeria gained independence. But I'll fast forward. My father died in 1973 while I was barely 13 years old. My mother was what you call an unlettered. We call them illiterates in Africa, but very proudly, not that she wasn't brilliant or intelligent, her parents couldn't afford to send her to school.
Yeah.
So you can imagine my father suddenly dying and I was left with this poor, unlettered woman. But she didn't give up. We had to vacate our homes to become squatters with our cousins, and I grew up in that environment. I tell people I'm a slow starter because in 1976 I did my first WAEC exam. I had a poor grade 3, and my mother could have given up and said, just go and find any menial job to do. She said, no, go back to school. Then in 1977 again, I did it. There was a problem, I didn't make it. Then she said, go back again. So what I'm trying to say is that education is the foundation of all good things. We are all gathered here today, and I'm happy to see my brother from Great Ife. I went through all that, and what was my dream? To be a teacher, marry a teacher, and live happily thereafter. But what turned out was that I'm a child of destiny. I don't know how many people believe in the word destiny. And I'm also a child of diversity. Just as you are diverse here, my life is a life of diversity. So I couldn't get a job, even as a teacher. And amongst my friends, I was the only jobless man. And everybody almost virtually gave up on me. But God had his plans. So somewhere along the line, a friend suggested to me that I should start writing. Out of joblessness. I always tell people I didn't train as a journalist. I never trained as a journalist. I got to Lagos at the age of 28. 28, yes. And 2 years after, I became the highest paid editor. Yes, because I worked so hard, I worked diligently, I was scared of going back to where I came from. And I'm sure a lot of the people you see here, they are doing what they are doing because they are afraid of going back to where they. That's why you see when Kamala says we're not going back. Sorry, I'm not talking politics. But, sometimes you just have to look forward. Yeah. And then my life, I don't know how I got myself entangled in politics. Africa is not a place to play politics. You could lose everything, including your life. I was put in detention and I was forced into exile. From 1995 to 1998, I was in exile in England, and those were my toughest years. But out of bad situations, your best comes out. Yeah. So one day, a cousin of mine, Shegun Fatoye, younger by about 10 years, asked me, what will you be doing in England? I had no answer. And he said, but you were a damn good journalist back home. Why can't you start a publication? Then I remembered an African proverb that money says, if it is not at home, make no plans in its absence. So I said, where are we going to get money? He said, let's do the business plan first. And then we did the business plan. We needed £150,000 to start small scale. If you sold my family from first generation to last generation, we couldn't come up with that kind of resources. I approached my bank manager at the National Westminster Bank in London, and the lady looked at me and said, Mr. Momodu, I like you, but I like my job more. I can't give you a loan, because you have no credit history in England. We didn't give up. My uncle, Chief Ezekiel Fatoye, gathered in our family. I don't know who we offended, but in our family, we're a family of scholars, not a family of rich people. So we know how to speak all the big English, but no money. But he scraped everything, my mother's younger brother, and gave us the first £10,000 out of 150. Then our friends and ourselves pulled another 10,000 together. We got 20,000 maximum out of 150. If you are looking for the original audacity of hope before Obama, we were the ones. So we made sure that we looked at the 20,000 and asked ourselves, what can we do with these 20? Oh, okay, it went off. Sorry, is it okay? Yes. So you will not believe it, I had a partner, and I want to tell you about the art and science of risk taking. So we looked at the 20,000. What can you do with 20 out of 150? And I suggested that we should get the most beautiful office like this, by the Canary Wharf, by the waters. You know, I dream big. And my partner said, no, this is stupidity. You are going to waste 14,000 out of 20 on getting a beautiful office. Then I told him, I said, the man who is down fears no fall. We don't have money, but what